We're less than 2 months away from the Delaware primary. One of the key races in Wilmington will be the chance to nominate a Democrat who is not James Baker. That's because Baker can't run again, which means it's up to 5 Democrats and 1 Republican to convince voters they're right for the job. Over the next several weeks, we will meet the Democrats, and we begin with Dennis P. Williams. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're quite welcome. Now tell me, many people know you as state representative and co-chair of the Joint Finance Committee.
Yes.
Now I'm going to throw something at you.
Fine.
Okay. If you're doing a campaign commercial and you can look at that camera, what's your 30-second pitch to voters on why you're the most qualified?
Well, I would say out of the situations that the city of Wilmington has right now, the crime problem, I'm the most experienced dealing with law enforcement. I was a Wilmington police officer. I worked in homicide and armed robbery. I have a degree in criminal justice. I went to the FBI Academy School of Arson and Terrorism. I went to the New York City School of Homicide. I think that I'm the best qualified to deal with the crime problem we have. Wilmington has a structural deficit. I've been chairman of Joint Finance for the past 4 years, but I've been on the Joint Finance Committee for 14 years. I handled a $3.6 billion budget. Back in 2009, we had an $800 million deficit. I got us out of that deficit along with my 11 colleagues in the governor's budget office. We didn't lay anyone off. We still have a AAA bond rating, and we have a surplus. I think I'm your guy.
Well, let's talk about very well. I'm glad you dealt with the thing I threw at you. Now let's talk about crime. Now we talked about it. We know it's in the headlines. It's making headlines. Crime in Wilmington. Do we have a problem here, or is this just a bizarre set of circumstances?
We do have a problem here. We have a problem here that most cities are experiencing throughout the nation. I do believe that one of the things that's missing here is our law enforcement component is not connected to the community to the point where they can get information to make arrests in these cases. There is a whole new philosophy. People think it's the drug dealer and the gun runners. There's a whole new group of people now that are coming in that are assassinating people, that have no arrest record. And when these folks go ahead and make their 2 or 3 hits, these people are eliminated. That's why you see these multiple shootings, and there's no real reason why people can't say, well, why did this guy get shot? He had no criminal record. We know that there's an undercurrent, and we have a way to deal with that because we still have an informant-based system. The people that are working with the Williams administration, I have a retired ATF agent, 3 retired Wilmington police officers, a professor from the University of West Virginia, who has helped the Cleveland police, the Baltimore police get out of some of their major problems. He is also a retired police officer. And we're going to also use internal revenue to go after these drug dealers. If you can't get the drug dealers for dealing narcotics and firearms, then we can go after them with the IRS the same way they brought Al Capone down. We're going to use many components to keep our streets safe. And people say it can't be done, watch and see.
Okay, yeah, because the mayor has said in effect that, you know, people are going to shoot one another and you can't stop them. So is there a leadership issue at play here in this election? Well,
I would never say people are going to shoot each other and we're not going to be able to stop that. I don't think that leaders should be saying those type of things, first of all. I think leaders should be taking initiatives to find out ways to go out and combat crime. Under Safe Streets Initiative, our plan, we're going to go after violent offenders. We're going to go after 37 to 40 people standing on corners. If a person is standing on a corner and you have anywhere from 10 to 14 people, and you know in the past few months there's been 7 shootings there, come on, it's 15 degrees outside. Why are they standing there? You know, they're dealing in the illegal substance trade. You have probable cause, you have the 2-hour uniform law of arrest, you have the loitering, and you have disorderly conduct. You can get out of the car and start asking people for identification. Most of the times, if you keep that aggressive patrolling up, people who have firearms and narcotics in their possession are not going to carry these guns because they know the police are going to stop and frisk. Are we going to take aggressive action? Yes, we are, because we're not going to ride by and wave at you. If you're holding a gun and standing on the corner, we are going to arrest you.
So it sounds like we need to step up community policing.
Sure. Absolutely.
Well, yeah. So tell me this: if you were mayor, would you fire the police chief?
Well, yes, the police chief was #1 on my list, and I love Michael. I've known Michael since he was a cadet, but there is time for a change. It's the same thing in the sports industry. If your team can't win above 50 games and you're in last place every year, management has to go along with their staff.
Okay. So have you said that in your campaign?
I have.
Okay.
And I think I will be the first mayor to bring a police chief in from the outside of the department. I'm not making any bones about it. I will hire outside the Wilmington Police Department.
Oh, well, if that's what we need, that's what we need.
Yes.
So you have a lot of experience when it comes to designing the budget for the whole state. Yes. Obviously, it's going to be different when it comes to the city. What's your take on the state of the city's economy?
Well, I think the problem is the budget is being run like it's been run for the past 20 or 30 years, you know you only have so many resources that you can tap into to balance a budget. So what you have to do, you have to look at your budget and see where the fat is. And I'm quite sure there's fat there. One of the things the Williams administration will not do, we're not going to have a lot of people coming in, putting their hand out and say, I supported you on your campaign, you owe me political favors. No, it's not going to happen here. We cannot run the city like this any longer. I'm not accusing anybody of this, but those who know what they've done as they run the budget, if they brought in a lot of people from the outside because they supported their campaign, that's nothing but a problem. That problem causes you to be fiscally irresponsible. We are going to find ways to make the city better off. We're going to encourage businesses to come, once we eradicate this crime problem, people to invest in the city of Wilmington. That's when it all starts. I will go to the General Assembly. I have the best relationship with the Senate, the House, and the governor. We will go down and ask for money to get us ahead of our deficit. Once we balance our deficit, I will pay the future debt service down, so that will give us a cushion for the next few years, so we'll be operating in the black. I know how to pay bills ahead. Sometimes it might not be so good with my own, but I can balance the city's budget, well, truly.
That's cool to know. So should we worry about taxes, a tax increase at all?
Well, that's something I can't really say. I will shy away from that as much as I can as far as raising taxes, because you can't balance the budget off the backs of the city residents. It's just not there anymore. This administration has taxed, I do believe, 24% between water and property taxes over the past 11 years. People have lost their jobs. People have been downsized. They can't continue to pay all these different taxes and water bills. We have to stabilize it, and we have to find a better way to work with our people who have lost their jobs and who are in trouble. We will eliminate some fat out of the budget, as I stated, and we will look for public and private partnerships, like 4th of July. I will ask the business community, you know, this is the United States' birthday, the 4th of July. Can you help me? Can you pitch in? Clifford Brown, we will ask for more than 50% of the funding of these programs. And we will say to these folks, we're going to give you the best police protection, but right now we're in a tight. We need you to help us. As I stated to you earlier off camera, I have 37 businesses now in the business roundtable that we created probably the past 4 months. We started out with about 15, we went to 20, now we have 37. We're meeting tomorrow. These folks really want to do something for the city. They want to roll their sleeves up, but they want the city to also start working for them. I will start looking at ways to make businesses feel comfortable coming into Wilmington, and a one-stop shop. Not come in tomorrow, you got to get a permit. 30 days later, you got to get a permit. Well, now you're selling sandwiches, you need another permit. Well, you want to open up across the street, now you need another business license. That drives people out. People start to say, by the time I open up, I haven't made $1, but I've given you $3,500 in either permits or false alarms. This has to be eliminated, because we are driving our business people out of this city and they're going to the county. They already don't like to pay the city wage tax, but if we bend over and work with them, come to a partnership and say, listen, let's work together. We understand that there's some problems here, but let's work together and we can eliminate some of these permits and licenses, and now maybe we can come to a happy medium. We can all work together here.
Let's talk about some of the neighborhoods, because you've talked about businesses, and it seems like we have businesses moving to the riverfront, which brings me to people who are sort of upset about that because they think the current mayor is neglecting neighborhoods. Is there a priority list for you, which neighborhood to work on?
Well, there has to be. We want to do a three-pronged attack in this city, and when I say that, we're going to do public safety, economic development, and neighborhoods. We want to go out and look at community leadership. We're not going to come in and dictate in the neighborhood and say who represents this neighborhood. We want to do a forum where we meet almost every 30 days or every 60 days. We're working on this, and we've had met with a lot of community folks. That's why if you drive around the city, you see probably close to 1,500 of Williams signs. These are people we're driving and people that are supporting us openly. And I think we have a great chance of winning if the Lord blesses us. But neighborhoods, we are going to work with neighborhoods 150%. One of my plans is I put $200,000 into the city of Wilmington as chairman of Joint Finance this year to keep community centers open. I want to see community centers open Monday through Saturday. And I want to see retired school teachers come in. And we want people to volunteer, not just for sports. We want to look at tutoring, things, team building, teaching people to be friendly with one another and understand each other because they're from a different part of the city. We want to bring back the Little League baseball teams, the Termite League basketball teams. It causes team building and people to become related to one another. It's friendship, understanding, and it's not East Side, West Side, Southbridge, Little Italy. that kind of nonsense, when you start all that nonsense, it's drawing lines in the sand. You know, people say, I'm from this part of town, I'm better than you. But if people got to know one another, and intramural league teams and things of that nature, you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I follow you.
And we also want to expand the summer job program into the fall. We're working on something to take it from just summer jobs into the fall to keep these kids employed and going to these centers. And we want people to really volunteer, not people who's looking for a payday or a plaque or a whole bunch of news and rewards in the paper. Those days are gone. If you reach back and really want to help someone, roll your sleeves up and become a mentor. And every person in the Williams administration will be a mentor, or they don't want to work for me.
So what's your first act if elected mayor?
I'm going to come in and thank the people of the city of Wilmington and thank God for getting elected, and we're going right after the criminals, first day.
So you're ready to take all of this on?
Yes.
You're okay. Sound really, really positive about everything. Now, I do have one last question for you.
Okay.
The mayors sort of have this no-nonsense approach. He'll tell you how you feel. He'll tell you like what he feels in a heartbeat. So do you think that's the proper relationship to have as a leader?
Well, I can tell you this. My mother always said, be careful what you say out of your mouth. It may come back to haunt you. Okay. Okay. And I'll think about what my mom always told me. Respect everybody.
Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Dennis P. Williams, Democratic candidate for mayor.